Whose birthday is it today? November 24, famous birthdays. The birth of Zachary Taylor, the 12th U.S. president. Is that who it is? And artists like Scott Joplin and Henry de Toulouse-Lautrec. Notable birthdays also include actors Katherine Heigl, Colin Hanks, and Sarah Hyland, along with comedian Billy Connolly. Look at this. You got Ted Bundy right here. Look, Ted Bundy's birthday. Notice how he's born on the 24th. This is a serial killer, Ted Bundy. Look, he's born on the 24th and he died on the 24th. You see that right there? But different months. So, ooh. So we're gonna look at him because it's his birthday, okay? So born on the 24th of November, dies 2 months later, January 24th. Born in 46, dead in 89. Born in Vermont, dead in Florida. Okay, I caught something already. Because Florida's got that 124, huh? Look at this. Let me get rid of this. Florida's got that 124 and he dies 124. Look at that right there. See that right there? Bam. Florida 124, and that's the death date. I'm not doing like a full breakdown. I'm what I'm doing is, it's your birthday and we're going random. And you know what? When you look at that birthday, 1124 is like 124. And he's born 1124 and he dies 124. How about that? He's probably connected to Al Bundy and married with children. I've heard a little bit about this guy, and they're saying he's kind of like a good-looking guy or whatever. Uh, from what I remember, and he killed a lot of women, right? I was told that might have been like a narrative to get women to not like attractive guys or something like that. But isn't that interesting? Did I say I was told that? I've heard in other videos like maybe that would be the narrative. But it's interesting because he's got the last name Bundy, like Al Bundy. And remember, Al Bundy hated women. The character Married with Children, Ed O'Neill. Isn't that interesting? I think it is interesting, and we're going to look at that a little bit here as well. What zodiac are we in? You see Peg right there. What zodiac are we in? November 24 zodiac. We're in Sagittarius, the ninth sign of the zodiac. Oh, look, it says it starts today on his birthday. Right? Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. It started yesterday. So he's a Sagittarius as well. So, we're going to look at a few of these things. So let me enter that in the calculator. Right there. And we'll get into a little bit more about this guy on his birthday. Again, this isn't going to be a full breakdown, okay? Let me put November. I think he connects with November as well. Let's see. So November has 40 like Ted Bundy, and he's born in November as well. So that's a nice little hit there. Look, you see it right there. November 40. Ted Bundy 40 right there. You know, and let me read a little bit about the guy real quick. Let's pull up a image right there. And let me just read maybe like a brief little breakdown on this guy, Ted Bundy. It's your birthday, right? So his name is Theodore Robert Bundy. So he goes by Ted. Was an American serial killer who kidnapped and he R-worded as well and murdered dozens of young women and girls between 1974 and 1978. His modus operandi, I don't know what that word is, typically consisted of convincing his target that he was in need of assistance or duping them into believing he was an authority figure. He died at age 42 as well. On top of that, okay, so I'm gonna enter also like serial killer over here, and I'm gonna enter his full name and just see if anything else lands. And you know, I'm not gonna like try super duper hard to make any of this stuff land, right? Because I just like want to be organic. I want something just to maybe pop up. And it looks like I see another connection here because his name is Theodore Bundy. Oh, okay. It's just got the 66 like Bundy. Okay, I thought I saw another 66 in there. So I entered a few things over on the calculator. I got Sagittarius there as well. I'm not really seeing much with that at the moment, but we'll come back and we'll look at that a little bit. Let's look at Ed O'Neill because they got the same kind of thing going on, right? And I can ask Google here, did Al Bundy hate women? And it says the character Al Bundy. Oh, okay. They're gonna look at this. Al Bundy did not universally hate women, but he was consistently portrayed as a miserable sexist character who made frequent misogynistic remarks as a key part of the show's dark humor. Right? Okay. What was the organization? No, ma'am, that he started? Oh, this is interesting right here. Look at this. It says Al Bundy in Route 666. Look, Route 666. Marcy said something, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if that's the episode name. That's interesting that it says in Route 666 and whatever they were going to say about Marcy the neighbor. Because remember over here, Theodore Bundy has 66, which is Ted Bundy. He's got 66, and even Bundy equals 66. Look at this right here. So that's kind of interesting. So what about Ed O'Neill? Let's see. Let's look at his birthday as well. And let's just see if there's any other. Wow, we have a connection. I may have to do a separate video on this. Look at this right here. Al Bundy, who was portrayed by Ed O'Neill, is connected to Ted Bundy. And I'm going to show you right now. This is absolutely amazing. First, look, you get Ed like Ted Bundy. And this is Ed O'Neill who plays Al Bundy. Look at his birthday. 1, 2, 4. Look at that right there. These are fake characters on the world stage. The 12th day of the 4th month. Remember, Florida 124. And that's where Ted Bundy died, in Florida. Look at that right there. And you get Ted like Ed O'Neill. How about that? Wow, Ted like Ed. Isn't that absolutely amazing? I've been knowing that they were connected. I just never really looked at it. And now look at that. On Ted Bundy's birthday, look what I catch right here. And you see all of the tabs. I'm a busy, busy guy. Look at that right there. Ed O'Neill, who plays Al Bundy. Ed is like Ted Bundy, serial killer. They recycle these characters, okay? They're just recycled and used again in a different form. Isn't that amazing? And then they both have this thing against women, obviously. Ted Bundy murdered young women. Al Bundy had no ma'am and was obviously like anti woman, right? The 12th day of the 4th month birthday. Ed and Ted. And then Florida equals 124, where Ted Bundy died. Hold on. Were they both born in 46? They were both born in 46. Wow. And remember, died 124, born 1124. Isn't that absolutely incredible? That's absolutely incredible, man. And November 40, Ted Bundy 40. Wow. It's incredible. Okay? It's incredible. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's absolutely amazing. I'm gonna look just a little bit more at this, but this is knocked out of the park already. Okay, this is this is knocked out of the park. I'm gonna look a little bit more at Ted Bundy here since it's his birthday. Let's see if there's a Wikipedia. Maybe there is. American serial killer who kidnapped, R-worded, and murdered dozens of young women and girls between 74 and 78. He would then lure his victim to his vehicle, at which point he would bludgeon them unconscious. Remember, Al had the Dodge, right? Al had the Plymouth Dodge, which, that just could be interesting, right? Plymouth Dusters that were made to look like a Dodge. So that could be interesting somewhere in there. Wow. At which he would bludgeon them unconscious, then restrain them with handcuffs before driving them to a remote location to be SA'd and killed. Bundy killed his first uh, definite, definitely known victim in February 74. This guy's probably connected to all the serial killers as well. Oh man, I hope I can close this. Oh, okay, cool. He's probably connected to all those other guys as well. Probably like Dahmer, Manson, and those guys. Here he is again right here. Okay, isn't that amazing how we go on the fly? I'm not labeling it on the fly. I just do that with the trending stories. But isn't that amazing? So, uh, his later crimes, his first His first victim in Washington, later crime stretched to Oregon, Colorado, Utah, Idaho. The Bundy, Al Bundy, and the Married with Children was based out of Chicago, right? But he frequently visited the bodies of his victims, grooming and performing SA. Wow. On the corpses until decomposition and destruction by wild animals made further interactions impossible. We don't really even know if any of that stuff really happened. Okay? They could just be telling us a story. As we know with some of our more recent news, which I show daily. I'm not saying that these crimes don't happen. I'm saying when we see stuff on the TV, it's usually like a story, right? Television. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Bundy was also a prolific burglar, and on a few occasions he broke into homes at night and bludgeoned, maimed, strangled, and SA'd his victims in their sleep. In 75, Bundy was arrested and jailed in Utah for aggravated kidnapping and attempted criminal assault. He then became a suspect in a progressively longer list of unsolved homicides in several states, facing murder charges in Colorado. Bundy engineered 2 dramatic escapes and committed further assaults in Florida, including 3 murders before being recaptured in 78. Wow. So, how did he die? Did he get some kind of death penalty? How did Ted Bundy die? Electrocution in the electric chair at Florida State Prison, Rayford, Florida. To be exact, he was 42 years old. So, I have to put execution over here as well. Execution equals 74, okay? And his first victim was in 74. Look, execution equals 74. His first victim was in 74. Look at that right there. Wow. There's probably other stuff within here. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of these numbers, but wow. It's just amazing, man. So, man, it's amazing. I will look real quick to see. So he died in 89. So how many days after his birthday? So it was like about 2 months roughly. 11/24, 1989, and he died before his let's see. Is this right here? Let's see. So he died 11/24/89. Oh yeah, he died 1/24/89, excuse me. So how many days after his birthday? Let me find the right calculator. Right there. So he died 1/24/89, and his birthday is today, right? So died 1/24/89. So we got to put 88 right there. Look at this right here. He died 61 days after his birthday, and electrocution equals 61 in the language. And remember, his first victim was in 74, and electrocution equals 74. Wow. How about that? So, man, Ted Bundy, like Al Bundy, played by Ed O'Neill, Ed like Ted. Al Bundy, Ed O'Neill. Ed O'Neill has the 12th day of the 4th month birthday, 124. Born the same year as Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy dies in Florida, which equals 124. Man, he dies on 124, January 24. And his birthday is today. It's your birthday, November 24, which is 11/24, like 124. Holy crap. Serial killer Ted Bundy, it's your birthday. I'll catch y'all in the next one.